Alright, so I figured that if I was gonna go through and analyze Poppy's bullpen, might as well go ahead and do it myself. So, got my bullpen video, got Spencer Strider. It's gonna be the same setup. Got this document, talk about some things. We're gonna go through, bring it through every stage of the pitch. A little bit of comparing, contrasting. Let's get right to it. First off, we're going to start with the drift here. Now, I've never really thought to myself that I've had problems with drift, but just going to check it out. Of course, Spencer. And there's his drift phase right there. That's beginning to end. Leg goes up. Slight hip movement. Then he starts to drop in. Right before that drop. Let's go on over the line. There was mine. I mean, it's not an amazing angle. We'll have better angles today when we go to our bullpens. I'll have to look through some of that video too and possibly make another video about it. But I mean, overall decent drift. I'd start with that hinge already, so there's really no need to put much counter rotation on the hips. So if you look at Strider, he also starts with that little hinge. So he doesn't counter rotate his hips much, which I think is a really big part in my pitching, not having that counter rotation, because that'll make that drop a whole lot harder if you're fully counter rotated. I don't know, it just doesn't really work well for me. But next we're going to get into the drop. So that goes up. Now he's starting to drop. Down, down, down. I mean, Strider sinks incredibly low. And I love his hip level. See how it's kind of, this thing's a little bit, the side of his, this hip is a little lower than this hip right here. Really like that hip level. Now mine, it's about even. I'll take it back a little bit further. Keep going into the drop. Okay. So that's pretty even. I mean, could definitely get a little bit of work, but you see that this is kind of angled. You can see that this hip is a little more out in front than this foot. It's always a good sign. There's the hip, there's the foot, a little out ahead. Now he keeps a pretty slight bend until about then. Never mind. So he keeps a pretty slight bend in this knee right here. Once he starts this drive until about right here. Once he gets about right here, he kind of starts to straighten out. But now, of course, we got the drive phase. So, I mean, what I'm noticing here is that he has a lot less glove movement than me. We'll skip on ahead to another pitch right here. So he gets into this drive right here, and there's very little glove movement. I want you to watch. This glove separates. He goes here and then right back in. Separates out, right back in. So he's never even fully extended. Now, with me, everything gets up there, which I think is a big factor of why I've had issues in the past with this glove beating the front foot down, which is something I talked about a little bit in Poppy's bullpen, was this glove beating that front foot down and how it delays everything, delays the rotation of the hips. But so I'm having to pull that glove back in, and it's not getting in there at a great time. Let's take it over to a slide step. Get to that. Alright. Here you are at a slide step fastball. So we already start pretty hinged. Like, we're already pretty low. Alright. Drift phase is quick. I mean, not a whole lot of it. Already into the drop. Now we're in full drop. So that glove is still going straight up. Excuse me. That glove is still going straight up. But it's going to pull right back in. I mean, it's really just pulling that glove down and then letting that peg go into it. I mean, definitely something that could get some work. So now back to Strider. I mean, before foot strike, this thing's already started to tuck. So this is right on impact, and I'm still out here. So when his glove is right here, let's look where his foot is. His foot's about right there. That is on foot strike. See, the big issue with this glove not getting in is that it kind of doesn't let, like with your sequencing, it kind of doesn't let these hips really start to fire. But we'll take it to a step back. Just go ahead and start with that. Take a look here. So a bit more movement and step back. I mean, gathering a little more momentum. That goes up. There's the drift. Now we're starting into the drop. So what I'm thinking here when I'm looking at this compared to a guy like Strider is, so this leg's going up, starting to tail back down, but he's never really letting that thing straighten out until he's out here. And I feel like that's a momentum thing. Like, he is keeping some of that momentum that he's creating throughout this drift and drop. That's going to transfer into the drive. But I'll show you what I'm saying here. This leg goes up. So we're already straight, right? And we're not even out yet. Like, we're barely moving here. I mean, we've barely driven. We're about right here, I would say. Right there. That's where I think we are. See, and he still has this bend. Butt's pushing. And I think that's giving him a bit more momentum just to push down the mound. It's kind of my thought process looking at that. I mean, because it's not really that big of a style thing. I mean, I think if you look back at, I think you'll probably see the same thing. So, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to get at there. Next, we're gonna go into the rotate. So right when this foot goes to strike, these hips should be getting open. We're gonna start with strider. There's impact. So as soon as that, right before that foot hits, as that cleat's making contact, these hips are starting to move. Just kind of pushing out of that hinge, and as soon as he gets out of that hinge, they're starting to open. Let's take a look here. Alright, so we're out of the hinge. And these hips are starting to open. This is a little bit after the hinge. Alright, gotta get to the right part here. So we're out of the hinge right here. We've left the hinge basically where he is right here. So we're starting to leave this hinge. Foot's ready to hit. Here we go. Right around the same part. I mean, he's extended. He's out there. And we'll see where this foot lands. So it's a decent stride. I mean, we're out there a good bit. We might have a little more. There's foot strike. I mean, I'm not sure how much more is in there, but we'll get back into the rotate part of this. Okay. So just a little bit after that foot strike, these hips are, he's square. I'm gonna take a look at this arm right here. Let's see how long it takes us to get square. So that's not good. That is not what we want to see there. So we're about square here. Looking good. We got a decent bend here. I mean, definitely kind of happens when you're lengthening that stride. I mean, he's out there. Like, mound's right here. Big length for him. See that bend? See that bend? Pretty similar. Like that. Like to see that. One thing I do not like to see is you can see where this guy's arm is, and this is a straight third base side view. This has a little angle to it, and it looks very similar, which it should. So if we had this view on this, my arm would probably be about here, which means we're already starting to rotate through. Right here you see all of the Atlanta, every bit of it, and I mean, you'd be missing on like at least half of this. So it'd probably be cut right here, where you wouldn't be able to see anymore. Not horrible, definitely a lot that could be worked on with this separation. It's little. It's a little separation, which will get pretty close to taking us into our next step, which we'll just hop on down to the separate. I mean, well, actually no, because I really want to get into the block phase. I'm talking about this. This is a big thing I've been working on lately. My block has been pretty weak. I mean, most of the time it's been very soft. So I'll just, and we'll get right here. So that's all we're getting there with that block. I mean, we'll see how long it takes us to absorb after foot strike. Okay, there's foot strike here. We'll push the foot strike here. Both of those are right on foot strike. Now we're going to see how long it takes me to start to absorb and before we start moving in. So that's the absorb. That might be a little more movement than we really want. So there's foot strike from. And you see how strong that front leg is? Let me go back just a little bit. Like, that is a heck of a block. Like, it's not moving. There's foot strike. And it never goes forward. Like, I think that's what I'm thinking. I'm losing a lot of momentum. From that heel drive right here into this block, that's where a lot of that momentum's going. For sure. So, need to get some of that movement out there. We'll take it back just a little. Take it back to the start. Foot strike. Let's get to another pitch, so we're not just staring at the same thing the whole time. Like to mix it up. Okay, this is the pitch I wanted to see. So this was the final pitch of my bullpen. Highest intensity pitch of the bullpen. So I'm very curious to see how all this looks. So I'm not gonna look at the spectrostrata for right now. We're just going to go through all the steps of this. That goes up. Drift. Hips are kind of starting to push. Have a good chance to have a good hip level here. Now we're going to start our drop. There we go. We're down. Leg straightens a little bit later. So this shadow on the other pitch was just a little bit behind it. Still think we could squeeze out a little more time before we get to that. See, because I think the longer this leg is straightened, the more of a swing it is almost, other than a drive and then open. I mean, because obviously this heel has to open up at some point. But we're going to go over here. I lied. So, heels driving. It takes him to here. He's in line with us. He's about halfway through his drive right here. When his foot's in line. My foot, you can see, is already kind of tilted this way. Almost. We're just gonna. So right there, like, and I'm a third of the way through my drive, and that foot's already straight up and down. But let's just head on down to foot strike. Decent separation. Hips are open. Early. That's good. I like that. Hips are already starting to be square on foot strike. Love it. Just go on ahead and compare. There's foot strike here. I mean, that's incredibly early. I think that was really why I like this pitch. I mean, it seemed really good with that. A little bit of a stomp there, but let's see where this foot or where this leg goes. So definitely some movement. Okay, that's exact foot strike. We're gonna go ahead and, like, it's with the start of the bucket. I'm just gonna hold my cursor there. That's a soft lock. I mean, it's a pretty stiff leg, but a soft lock. Definitely. Now we're gonna look at. I can hold. Now we're just gonna get to the separate part. We're gonna look at how I'm separating. Hip shoulder separation. Always need more. Let's just go to a regular. We'll go to a regular fastball. We won't look at a curve right now. But here we go. Foot strike. Like, I mean, we don't have much at all. So this is firing around quick. Like too early quick, not good quick. Where his is holding back, holding back, holding back. That's when the ball leaves his hand. He has that lock. Let's see what it looks like when the ball leaves my hand. Like, we still have more. We're not there yet. Which I definitely think is due to that absorb. So, I mean, because this knee's moving from the start of this bucket to right here before it really starts to push back. It's not pretty to see. So we still have so much more of this lock. Watch, you're going to see this leg moving a little more. Wouldn't a huge lock, but this leg's still going to move. And it like straightens out. But the timing is just off. We're going to get a slide step here. Take a look at one of these. So, a big focus in this last bullpen was looking at the heel, but it was also kind of just like a test drive. Like, I was trying to look all through it. I knew it was going to have some video, so I wanted it to be a bit more natural. I didn't want to try to do too much. But with this slide step, it's not letting this leg straighten out right here, where it's just so much more focused on this drive. Because this thing is just going up a little bit, and then it's just pushing straight down the mound. Just pushing straight down the mound. We're straightened right here. This is where our leg is straightened. We're about halfway through our drive. Just like Spencer. So, I mean, I definitely think that's where a lot of good in the slide step comes from. There's foot strike. So we're striking right here. See the movement. Little. But this is when the ball is leaving my hand. Let's go here. Ball's leaving his hand right here. That's a huge difference. I mean, all this bend to that. And this lock was mediocre. I mean, definitely a lot of work that needs to come from that. But now we're going to take a look at when these hands separate. Something I've been wanting to look into lately. Just gonna just wait to record it. So we're gonna watch when my hands break and when his hands break. drive. Okay. Early. Right there. We're just dropping. Like, this is extremely early. Look. I'm out right there. That's about the same spot. And he's still up here. He's gathered. I mean, and I've seen some stuff with pitchers like giving a little pump, like kind of pumping it into the glove before, just to keep it closed just that second longer. But I don't know, just a little bit. There's his separation point. I mean, he's about 40% through his drive. What it looks like here, I haven't even drove yet. This heel's just starting to get down. I'm just about to start my drive if we click on this. So we're just now starting to drive forward. And this ball's already back here. He's 40% through his drive and he's right here. I'm just going to leave him all this room to move this ball. He gets to move this ball through full range of motion up to the top right before he starts to load back into that scap. Hips are open, which hips are opening at a good time here. I like that. It's just that separation is not letting, where these hands are coming out is not letting this rubber band, it's just not letting it happen. I mean, we're gonna take a look at a slide step here, which I'm pretty sure I separate very early. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm starting further out, like, so we're out right here. A little bit through that drive. It's better. And I think that's why the slide step gets some good velocity on it compared to just a regular fastball. I can usually get a mile an hour or two extra. I'm going to take this down to foot strike. There it is. So a lot more separation. I mean, hips are, let's take this back just a little bit. Okay. This is the point I wanted to be. Foot strike, hip squared, and this is a lot further back than the other one. I mean, of course, that's Strider's arm foot strike. I mean, he's not even fully up yet. I'm already loaded back. That's loaded into the scap right here, which is another phase. The load on some of these look good. It's a good load. Back into the scap. It's just, it's so early that it doesn't really have that effect that we want. And take a look at the separation. Ooh, yuck. We're not even through the drop yet. And this ball is out of the glove. I mean, today, I'm going to throw another pen. Gonna get some more video. We're gonna have the Rapsodo hooked up this time. So we'll have a bit more statistics lined up on it. But, man, like, that's just rough. It's not what we want. I'm just looking at, I'm gonna do some drive drills today. Definitely gonna work on holding those hands back and not really letting it go until, I mean, because we can't really be letting it go through until this leg is getting about here. right around here, a little past this. I want to be separating right here. That'd be great. If I could start my separation here, or maybe even a little earlier. It could be a little earlier. Even if it's just like here. Yeah, same spot. But separating right here, because it's a long range of motion for this arm. I got a pretty high arm slot. It's a long range of motion all the way through. Now we're going to bring this to the block. Gonna look at how these hips look, and I already know the hip shoulder separation is gonna look terrible. We're already moving forward, foot just struck. Alright, this is in 0.3 speed, by the way. Like, it's just like, that's leaking so much velocity. That's gotta be 3 to 4 miles an hour right there. Just off of that separation. Like, I get this back and I'm still loading into my scap right here. Like, that's skyrocketing velo, which we're gonna test out today while we're on the Rapsodo. I'll go over some of that probably tomorrow. I'll probably be able to get something out, but so like, even with the lock, like, ball's leaving the hand right there. It looks a little bit, oh, we got a little belly button action. Oh, shoot. Alright. Like, we still have so much left in that lock. I mean, good lock at the finish point, for sure. Like, very good for me lately. I mean, because the lock's been looking rough. But we just need that strong, on time lock. So, a few notes I'm going to be bringing into this next bullpen. Oh, wait, no, we got a little bit more. Never mind. We're still going to go over the spiral here. See how these shoulders are rotating through. I mean, of course we don't want to see a swing. We kind of want to see a little bit of downward movement, which is almost more of a feel saying. But you can kind of see here. With a higher arm slot, it's a lot more easy to tell. But just those shoulders pulling down right there. You see it's coming through, pulling down. Like, that's really just letting that ball fly. I'll take this back just a little bit. Okay. Oh, shoot. Okay. So this shoulder's about to pull straight through here, which is good. That's good. That's what we want to see. Good. Now we need to see this follow, which it will. It always does. It always does. Another thing I'm kind of starting to see is this chest. Not a huge fan of this chest beating this front foot, or coming close to beating this front foot, which I definitely think will improve with the lock. I mean, he's out there, but mine's a bit more of a lean, I would say. So, I mean, this is around the same point. I really like how those shoulders are moving through. I want to watch this hip right here. Watch this back hip. When I see this hip, kind of see like it's almost rolling over. That's what I like to think of it as. Good mental cue. So think of this hip just kind of like rolling over. I know if I can feel that coming through the pitch, that there'll be a bit more power in the hips behind it. I mean, because to get that hip to roll through, you need some good hip momentum. When you start to separate here, right before that block, So right here. Once this is trying to rotate through, I mean, it's got to move quick if you want this hip to really feel that leg. So one thing I like to think of might help. Yeah, just a few things gotta get cleaned up for the season. Definitely some notes I'm gonna put in. I mean, number one, we want to work on the heel drive. More specifically with the heel drive, not letting the lead leg straighten out too early. Right? I mean, like, at least getting 1/3 to 2/5. What the heck? Oh yeah, I forgot. So getting around 1/3 to 2/5 through drive phase before straightening. Number two, we want to work on the hand separation. Oh my gosh, I can't spell. Oh, that was wrong. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to work on that hand separation. More specifically, hand not leaving the glove before drop phase is complete. Yeah. Then bringing it into number three. It's just gonna be top three things I'm bringing into this. Just gonna be having that strong front leg. Strong front leg. Mainly talking about like a little less of this absorb here, which I talked about for a while earlier. That movement before the lock. Right? I mean, definitely a lot leaking through there. And I think if we clean a few of those things up, a lot of things will follow. Like this hand separation is definitely going to help the hip shoulder. Definitely going to be pretty big. I mean, just a lot of things will kind of fit together once those are done. I mean, because I feel like the hand separation just snowballs. So these hands separate way early. Dropping, separated, okay? Which, we're over halfway through our arm range of motion, and our foot isn't landed yet. Hips aren't open yet. We're not even squared. Yeah, we're not squared. Let's see when his arm is halfway through. Once arm's starting to move up, right here. His foot's landed. These hips are starting to rotate. See? Hips are just starting to rotate. These haven't even started yet. Let's go back. I mean, they haven't even really rotated yet. Now let's kick it a little bit forward. Yeah. And like he's at the top. This is the same point right here, arm-wise. I mean, which looks similar, but he's loaded further back. He's way further back than I am. This arm is spiraling. Like, it's spiraling forward. It's following this lead shoulder right here. I mean, his separation is insane. And then the ball just fires. I mean, that's how he's throwing 99. So, I mean, definitely a couple notes I'm going to bring into this next bullpen. More work that's going to needs to get put in. Man, but it's never enough. So, yeah. Just wanted to go through a few things. You know, talking through all this helps me further understand what I'm doing when I'm on the mound. So, like talking through my own bullpen, even if it's nobody. Just definitely helps me a lot. Hopefully it helps anyone that's watching. Gives you something else to think about. And yeah.